Okay, y'all, we come to the part in all our mothering conversations talk about mistakes in mothering, and I thought I'll own this one because this resembles me. Um, just recently, I came home. I'd had just a crazy, crazy hair on fire day. I got home. My nephew is living with us for a while. He's 20 years old, great kid, but he doesn't have his whole frontal lobe, so he's a little messy. And I walked in the house, and he and Missy, I mean, it looked like jackals had been having a fraternity party at our house. And you know how you just go, ugh, it's been a really long day. I don't want to deal with my kitchen being just wrecked. And he was running out the door to a Bible study. And so he didn't even catch it. I thought, I'm not going to say anything now because he's going to Bible study. So I'll tell him later maybe to not be so wild. But Missy caught my face. And Missy's real intuitive. And Missy went, Mom, are you mad? And I said, no, baby, I'm not mad. And she went, you look mad. And I said, honey, I'm frustrated. I said, it's been a really long day. And to come home and you and John Michael have just trashed the house, so I know I need to clean the house. I said, I'm just a little bit frustrated. And she goes, why are you frustrated? And all my godly went out the window. And I went, because you are both piglets and I came home to this crap. And I went, oh, you know, when you're like, I didn't mean to say that out loud. And I don't normally say that word. I know it's not a good Bible word, but I was at the end of my rope. And as soon as I said it, I watched her shut down because that's how Missy deals. If I'm inappropriate, she will shut down. And I said, honey, I'm really sorry. I said, I shouldn't have said you were piglet, and I shouldn't use that word. That's an ugly word. And it was, I will give you my Haitian stare. I will not join the conversation. That's how she deals. And I said, okay, baby, go get the feeling chart. And we have, you know, the chart of faces, and the face have an emotion below them. So you've got a happy face, you've got a sad face. When she didn't speak English, we used that chart we did a lot of play therapy, and now I love that chart. Sometimes I hate that chart. But anyway, she brings the chart in, and I said, do you want to tell me what you're feeling? She goes, yes, ma'am. I am mad, I am sad, I am frustrated, and I'm disappointed.
Gold star and all.
And I was like, wow, okay. And I said, that's totally fair. I said, if my mama came in and told me I was a piglet and used the word crap, I'd probably be all those things too. I said, so that's totally fair. I said, is there anything I can do to help you move back toward peace and joy? She said, yes, ma'am. I said, all right. I said, besides apologizing, and I'd already told her I was sorry. I said, what can I do? And she said, I want you to write the way you made me write. Because we'd been on a plane earlier that week, and she had been naughty on the plane, and I didn't want to discipline her with words with all the people around. So I was just like, you will write, you the I will not. She'd written that in her notebook, and I said, honey, that's fair. I said, you get a vote in this house. I was inappropriate. I said, I'll write. What would you like me to write? She said, I want you to write, I will not raise my voice. She's like, that's fair. Using her pencil, I will not raise my voice. So she said several other things she wanted me to own. The third or fourth thing was, I want you to say, I will not be sad. And I said, well, baby, I can't write, I will not be sad, because some of the stuff we're dealing with as a family right now, we've got some addiction issues with our family. And I said, some of that stuff makes me sad. I said, I'll tell you what I can't write. I can write, I will work on being less sad and focus more on the hope we have in Jesus. And she said, that's good, Mom, that's good. Well, so anyway, we write it all. It's done. Everything's kind of reconciled. Everything's good. 2 days later, this group of people came over to our house because they were having a little interview with Missy on adoption. And so she was interviewing with them, and I said, baby, you want me in the living room while they talk to you, or do you want me to give you privacy? And she was like, I want to do this one by myself, Mom. I was like, that's cool. So I go out and sit on the porch. A friend had come over. We're talking. Well, after like an hour, the video guy comes out, and he goes, man, your kid is so intuitive. And I was like, really? Because a lot of times people miss that in her because she didn't learn English till later. It's just easy to miss unless you really focus. And I said, well, that's great. Because, of course, I think she's, you know, smarter than Einstein and a little bit pathologically biased. And he said, yeah. He goes, I mean, I was getting B-roll in your house, and the whole, I will work on being less sad. And I said, oh, no.
You didn't find the chart.
That was me. She had taken it, unbeknownst to me, taken that piece of notebook paper I'd written in pencil. She had put it, you know, the magnetic strip, you put their artwork on. She had just, I mean, high, large, and in charge, put it there for everybody to see. I hadn't noticed it. And I was like, oh, no, that was all me. Yeah. You used it in your little thing, but that was actually me. But it was so good for me to tell her, I'm really sorry. I'm the mama, I'm in charge, but it's also incumbent upon me when I am unkind to you to say, I'm really sorry. That wasn't okay. And I know people have a whole lot of different opinions on that. And some mamas think you don't ever let your guard down with your kids. But I think part of earning her respect is for me to acknowledge when I'm not being a godly mama. So how do y'all handle mistakes with your kids?
Hi everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload. Thanks for being a part of our Better Together community.